All right. Episode 1 of the Enter the Jungle podcast. Today, for my first guest, I have producer, drummer, engineer, my good friend, Young Maximus. Young Maximus, how are you feeling today?
I'm good, brother. What's going on?
Doing great. So, Maximum Jaguar. I love the name. I know Max, you didn't like the name in the beginning.
For the longest time, I was like, we're not naming the project Maximum Jaguar.
I think everyone loves the name. I also love the name. I came up with the name. I don't know if you remember the story, but I came up with the name. I'd flown out to New York to hang out with one of my homies. Shout out my homie Nico. We were working on a collab project between me and him, and then me and Max were talking about when we were gonna finish our tape, and he asked me for a couple of names. And I knew the name as soon as I thought of it. I was like, Maximum Jaguar. We have to do it. It's Max's name. It's my name put together. There is no better way to do it.
Yeah. Nah, it grew on me. I don't know what about it grew on me, but it did. The corniness of it. I was like, you know what? I guess that's what makes it like cool type shit. But it worked out great with the trailers that we made too, because I produced like a couple like beats, and like he made some really cool promotion trailers out of them, like wrapped over them. It was pretty cool. And one of them was, around Maximum, and the other one was around,
Jaguar.
being a Jaguar. Yeah.
And we actually got to use the trailers at our release party, which I think was a super dope
Yeah,
idea.
for sure.
I played it like while I was walking up the stage, so I think that was super dope. I love both those trailers, and I think Maximum Jaguar also just kind of represents the mind state of like, everything me and Max made was made that night. You kind of have to put yourself, a lot of nights, even when I didn't really have the words to write, I kind of just had to figure out and stop bullshit and then just kind of write whatever came down the page. So I think that was kind of a mentality, and especially of how much we work. We don't work like that no more. We got to kind of get back into that mode. But we had any free time we had. If we had a free like 30 minutes, an hour, we would try to like cook up something. So I think that mind state is kind of what embodies a project, and hopefully he's gonna come back around for this too.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, sure. So me and Maxie have known each other about 2 years now. Actually, May of last year, we put out a collab project called Maximum Jaguar. We are currently working on disc 2 to come out this year. Funny enough, we actually even started working together in May of 2023 when we made our first song, which we will get into a little bit later. But as we've been working on this too, I've had this idea for a while where we kind of break down a little bit of how we made all the songs. Obviously, they're very collaborative. We made them all in the studio together. No packs, no samples being sent back and forth. Everything in studio, which I think was a very, very fun process that had like a lot of stories behind it. So was really excited to do this episode. So to start off, how did we exactly meet? I don't know if you remember, but I remember.
Well, I think we met at a Tuesday Blend for the first time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
came out to that Tuesday Blend show.
Yeah, because shout out to Chris and Faison, artist out here. But yeah, he was constantly telling me about you and that we should link up and shit. So we finally met at Tuesday Blend. Nice. Then I seen you at a couple kickbacks too, often at at the last Friday house and stuff like that. So few places.
Yeah, and I think since we met that first time, I know, Chris and Faison have very high words about you. Obviously, two good friends of mine, so I was really excited. I think in passing, we always said, oh, we gotta work, this same shit. And then finally, I think we got the chance to work. So I think the first time we worked was, I remember it pretty well, but it was a random Monday, and we had been like texting back and forth, and then Maxie calls me, he's like, bro, you gotta come pull up to the session real quick. And I remember it was pretty late. It was like 8 or 9 on a Monday. And I was pretty tired. I was like, I don't know how much I want to come to the session right now.
And I was living all the way out in Boulder City too. So bro drove out from Vegas to Boulder City, which is pretty for a late night too.
As soon as you sent that address, I spent a good 20-30 minutes thinking about if I wanted to drive out that far. But it ended up working out. We worked on this song called The Heights. A big fan of this song. It has our good friend Mariah, also known as Shalom, on the song. I know Max and Mariah were working on the song for a little bit before I came in. But I think I want to hear a little bit. I don't know if you want to hear a little bit, and then we can kind of break down the song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it. Crazy heater. For what I remember about the song, that was the first time we had actually got this idea from my good friend Spidey, which me and Max both know very well. But we did a couple of these sessions where you kind of just hear the beat and then you freestyle for like 2 or 3 minutes straight while it loops, and then we kind of pick out the best parts. So that's how I came up with the hook to that. I know we kind of workshopped it because I kind of just went on for like super long, but I think we found the best part of that. That kind of became the hook. Mariah wrote her part a little bit, and I'm sure I'd love to have Mariah on the show and get her perspective. But a lot of the things I remember about that song was it was the first time I ever did that process behind it. I think our studio setup was
I was about to
really
say
funny.
we can't forget to mention that it was made in a tattoo shop.
Exactly, with the audio technica mic with no pop filter.
Yeah, like no, like when I was living out there, I didn't have room for a studio, so we was cooking up in my dad's tattoo shop, and it would be literally from 10 till like sometimes 3 or 4 in the morning. No mic stand, nothing. We just be holding the mic in hand, like totally untreated. I mean, lots of stuff on the walls and stuff. So I mean, I think that helped. But
that definitely helped. But yeah, man, I think those sessions were some of the best times in my opinion. I feel like there was very free. I'm pretty sure that's still the same take we used on the final version was the one we did in the tattoo shop, because it's like I think it gets hard to like try to recreate like vibes and emotions and everything that was like in the session. So I'm really proud of that song. I think I got like a lot of like good reception from it. I think it was different for me too, because like usually how I like making songs is like I get the beat, I take it home, and I write to it. I think I've told you that a lot. Like that was my usual like songwriting process. And then I think honestly us working together is probably what changed it the most. Yeah. Because it's kind of just like you say whatever you feel like in the session, and then that's it. I don't think I changed like any of the lyrics off Maximum Jaguar outside of what we wrote.
Yeah, no, night. I don't think there was very much that we like even went back to like re-record or anything. A lot of it we kind of just loved off the bat. So
nice. But yeah, man, the Heights was great. We did a dope music video shoot for it. Shout out my boy Bombs.
Shout out Shallom too.
Yeah, Shallom killed that. That music video was super dope.
Yeah,
we had a nice like Vegas Strip ambiance in the background. So that part was super dope. Next song that I think we made that made it onto Maximum Jaguar was Wave.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I think I went through the days. I think it was Wave. So Wave features 2 more of our good friends, Rose and Charles. So that day actually, me and Rose were talking a lot. I was supposed to drive out to Rose, and Rose geographically lives on the opposite side of the city to Max. He's in the most northwest corner as opposed to Max's southeast. So I was trying to debate which session I could go to, because Max wanted to work, Rose wanted to work. So I told Rose, well, how about you just come out to Max? He's over here. He was down to make like the 45-minute drive over there.
Jeez, and actually, Rose lives even further than Charles does, dude. Yeah, that's you're right. Yeah. Like, oh, man, that's crazy.
And then Rose came out, and then I think the vibe of Wave was definitely gives me very like pirate theme. Like it's very like the strings on it.
Yeah,
there's definitely like
that guitar
that
for sure.
ambiance. So I think we were trying to figure out like a good idea for it, and this is what we came up with. Again, another heater. That one I think we had a lot of fun with recording because I think we didn't really know where we were going with.
Yeah, it was a like group session, couple people there, and also this one was also in the tattoo shop.
Yeah.
And actually we cooked up 2 other songs that night with this too, so it was definitely like a really kind of just big fun, also long session. You know, so vibes were good that night.
I just realized while I played this song, that's actually where I gave this man the Lead the Way Maxxii tag.
It is actually that this is the song where that tag was very first created.
And used in many songs after.
Yeah.
But I got it from
shout out Rose.
I got it from I just let Max lead the way whenever he comes to our sessions. I try not to go in there with knowing what I already want to make. I try to let Max kind of create what the vibe is.
Yeah, actually every beat on the album was made like from scratch, started during that session too, and you like wrote to him. So
so I think that was the birth of Lead the Way and kind of how we started making songs from then on. But yeah, I love Wave. I think Wave is fun to perform too. I know me and Rose performed it pretty recently, so definitely a big fan of Wave. The next song that made the album that we made was actually Diluted, which probably it's tough because I love all of them, but it probably is my favorite song off the album.
Diluted is probably one of mine too, for sure.
I think again, and that one was like, I remember it perfectly. So I think I was at actually the Golden Knights victory parade. It was a Saturday, and I was there. I wanted to go check it out first, obviously, Vegas championship in the city. So I had to go see it, and I'm chilling at the parade, and then Max texted me, and by that point, we already knew what time it was. If Max texted me, it was like, oh, we're trying to get to work. We're trying to cook on the spot. So I didn't even like respond. I just said, yeah, I'm down. He was like, what's good? I just said, yeah, I'm down. So I think I left the parade. I dipped over to Max's. And then, yeah, I think we made the Diluted beat. I love the loop on it.
Yeah.
And I think we just kind of wrote to the loop. So let me play a little bit of Diluted. We'll go from there. So again, yeah, I think it reflects and definitely in the writing style, because I think that was like the first thing I wrote. That's why it has all the same rhyme scheme in that first verse. And also what actually happened with the song is this was definitely supposed to be like a rough like demo, and we were like, one, we were gonna polish it up, and 2, we were gonna add to it. But I think the final version is the original recording exactly how it is too.
Yeah, and actually shout out Los helping on the mix on this one too. I'm pretty sure it all is pretty much the original takes too, like all the breaths in that little like chorus section are dope, and it's one of the first ones I saw you get like really melodic on, which was cool too to hear.
Yeah, I remember we were showing it to everyone when we made it. Like, it was such a departure of like what I usually make, but it's definitely become one of my favorite songs. I think I really like the structure of it because it is pretty unusual. It's just like one long verse. It's that hook. And then it's like half a verse because I didn't even finish it. That's why I repeat like the second half of the verse again, because I didn't even have an idea of how to finish the song. But I think I love the way it turned out. Obviously, another great one to perform. Very catchy too. I think a lot of my shit before that was always about making like super complicated stuff. So I think that was like definitely the heights in that were like the first departures into like melodic shit, more catchy stuff. A lot of stuff that's a bit easier on the ear. So I'm definitely a big fan of Diluted. Next song I have that we made after that was Together, with Santino Cardinale, additional production by Aayan. So together we actually made we rented out a 12-hour studio session over at Junction Sound. I had a bunch of my homies come through, and we created like a bunch of music that day. Ironically, Santino wasn't even one of the homies I initially invited. Definitely high on my list, but I knew Santino pretty well, so I knew I could get him in a different session. But he was at Junction the same day, so he hopped over into the session. And then obviously Aayan was there because Aayan and Max were co-producing for most that day. But here's a little bit of Together.
Definitely another also one of my favorites. I love that one.
I think that was like, so that definitely for me in terms of sequencing, having those three of the Heights, Diluted, and Together all go in order, I think were very important because those are three of my personal most like melodic tracks. But yeah, I remember like, I think I'll let you tell a story about the beat, but I remember I was like trying to think about what to write for a while because I think I made like 5 or 6 songs that day. So I was like, my mind was like mentally burnt out by the time I got to this one. But I remember just hearing the sample on loop definitely helped me out. Obviously, Santino's verse, I think it was a lot shorter. He did like a hook kind of bridge thing. And I kind of like pushed him to kind of like do like a full verse. And that's how we got like first half, second half situation, which I also think is dope because I love songs without like traditional structure. So the fact that it's a Santino half and my half kind of merged together. But what do you remember about like producing with Aayan on that song?
Man, I remember so many songs we made that day. It was a long day, and this one was more towards the end of the session too. But yeah, I remember that one we chose out the sample, and laid out the drums on it, and then that cool little like I had the idea for the middle section of the switch up, and then me and Aayan were both kind of just working on like the little the TV sound and the you know, the white noise cut out and stuff, and then the second half of the beat like pitching it down a little bit, slowing it down a little bit, you know, it's pretty cool too.
Yeah, I think it matched like the difference in our voices too between me and Santino, so
for sure.
I was really love that idea. So I think Together is a very special song. Another dope video we shot too over in downtown Vegas, kind of right by Fremont. So really love that video. Shout out Santino, shout out Bombs. The next song I have that we made for the album was The Boom.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
What I was thinking. The Boom. Another crazy story with The Boom, right? It was.
Is that the one where I had you go all the way out to Boulder?
Yeah, no. I think so. We had gone to one of our friends' shows. I think it was at Taverna. we had gone to one of our friends' shows and we were gonna cook. Was that Taverna or was it at? Maybe somewhere. It might have been at New actually. I just remember we went out to a show and me and Max were talking about, oh, we're gonna cook after. So I'm driving, waiting for Max. I think Max gets pulled over on the way home, and I'm waiting until like 2. I want to say like 2 or 3 a.m. This was a crazy night because I still remember the time we finished the boom. The timestamp on the finished record is like 5:05 a.m. So this is the night that like.
Yeah, I remember we were in Moment Studio. I do remember going that late. I definitely, man, I don't remember any of that. That's crazy. I'm not even gonna lie.
I think Max got pulled over on the way home, and then I was waiting for Max so I could grab him. We could go to Moment Studio. But by the time I grabbed Max, went to Moment Studio, and then I mean that's why I remember that song because we still kind of made something crazy at like
I love
4
the boom.
a.m.
I
4
love the
a.m.
boom.
Morning, so we'll play a little bit of that.
That hook, man, I love that hook. The boom, I love it.
Yeah, I think when I made it, I'm pretty sure it was gonna be the intro. I think I had a great idea that I think it'd be a dope intro. I think it's the structure again. I think it's just a hook, one like kind of long verse, and then the hook again. So I think it kept it kind of like simple, kind of light to like start the album. So I think I really like that part. Spidey actually helped with that too. I don't know if that's co-production, but
did
little intro sound.
I remember he threw on the he
reverse,
did. He threw on the gross beat.
The gross beat. Yeah, I love that part. I think that definitely like that pushed that part to the top. So that was the boom. I think after that, the next one we made was Hardly. I think Hardly was the first one. I don't know if that's you made, but definitely we made when you were living out in Boulder City. Not in the tattoo shop.
Yeah, I was actually had a room for my studio.
You had the yellow maxi light. I remember that.
Yeah.
But Harley was the next one, and I don't know if I knew it was gonna be the outro instantly, but I definitely knew this was just like I think if all the other ones were like experimental, I think Harley was just like me kind of doing like what I do best. It was very like
Harley, and the boom,
and Harley
too,
and the boom, yeah. So after we did like some experimenting, we got to do some of our my go-to style. So I'll play a little bit of Hardly. Yeah, that was crazy. I love the hook on that one too. That was I think that's the most like complicated hook on the project. But yeah, what's the effect on the beat? What's that sort of effect called?
Same thing as on the last one, gross beat. I just put a gate on the melody though, but I love it's like it kind of gives it like it reminds me of like just really loud evacuation sirens type thing, like just like get out, like type shit.
That's what I love. I think it definitely helps it stand out. I think it's a dope way to end the project too. I think it gives some good climax to it.
Most definitely.
But I think that's Hardly. And then the last song we made for the project that I have here is actually Falling Flat, which again is kind of like the bridge between the melodic stuff and kind of the more rapidy stuff towards the end. But Falling Flat we made again, in the same place we made Hardly. And then we made 2 songs that night. Another one I'm super excited about. for disc 2
Yeah.
with our good friend Faison, which is actually how we got introduced, which is very full circle. But let's play a little bit of Falling Flat and we'll get into it. Yeah, that has like the kind of like the Jersey club,
Jersey, yeah, a little Jersey
bounce to it, while it's still being like on like a soulful sample,
Mm-hmm.
which I think that's what I love, because it's just something that sounded a little different from everything else we were making. But yeah, Falling Flat, honestly, was just like, I think it was just a vibe, like I think you made, and then I was starting to feel it, and then I kind of just made the whole song
Mm-hmm.
on the spot again. Yeah, I don't think we made any changes. It was a very kind of like just like a symbolic song of like that type of vibe. But I think the hook I like a lot, because it's very different from everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I think the structure of it, I know there's the first section that I don't know if you remember, but we had the first section with the bounce that we added back in to the second one, because I think we had fast slow, but we made it like fast slow, fast, and I really love that we did that part, because I think that added like a new energy into it. But is there anything else you remember about Falling Flat?
Well, I'll tell you what, I totally forgot that we made that other song that same exact night. But other than that, I think it's another dope song that we put on the project too.
Yeah, man. So I think that was everything we did for Maximum Jaguar Disc 1. I know we had like a lot of songs we put like on the cutting block that hopefully for other projects and stuff, but we made the last one's Falling Flat was like October of 2023. I think I counted up like 36 songs we made in 2023, which is pretty crazy to think about. But so I think we finished that 2023. We had like a release plan going into 2024. So we started off, I think the Heights came out first. That was in February. Yeah. And we did Diluted in March, together in April, and then we had the full project out in May. So, man, good times. Coming up on a year anniversary for it, which is pretty crazy to think about.
We threw a cool little show for the release party too. That was awesome. Yeah.
Shout out to everyone who came out to that release party. Did it over at Honors Brand. We also did with Rose, who is on the project, which was a dope way to kind of combine both missions at the same time. But yeah, man, I've heard a lot of dope stuff about this project from everyone who listened to it. Definitely a lot of appreciation for your beats, which I am also appreciative of, and I think it was definitely a fun experience to make. And now I guess we're looking at Maximum Jaguar Disc 2, which I'm super excited for. What do you think? What do you think the people can expect on Disc 2?
A lot more of the melodic stuff, to be honest, but I'm very excited for that. I'm excited for the features on it. Excited to finally put some of that stuff out too.
For sure. I think a big part of everything we made, because even when you think about 36 songs we made in 2023, I think a lot of it comes from just kind of being on the same page, like musically. Because I'll say that I haven't really been on the same page musically as anyone else, as I've probably been with Max. Because I think it makes it a lot easier just to kind of create music like that. Because by the time the process works is Max kind of starts, we pick out a loop, and I'm writing to the loop as soon as we find it. Then Max kind of builds the drums around it, adds all the different sections of the beat. So ideally what we have is by the time the beat's done, I at least have something to lay down. I usually lay it down. We did for a while, and we still try to always have like a different person come in the sessions, just to get different features, different ideas, bounce like different stuff like that. So I think that's always worked really well together. I'm excited for Disc 2. maybe even a disc 3. Maybe we even make it a trilogy with all these other
yeah,
songs.
there's gonna be a few songs that still don't make it, you know.
So I'm super excited for it. If you had to pick one song, just you don't gotta tell me too much. One song that you're most excited for that we haven't dropped yet.
Is between two, probably for you,
yeah,
right, with Sensei. Shout out Sensei.
Shout out Sensei.
And probably the one with Faison, or even with Jazzy.
Oh yeah, both shout out Jazzy Caliente.
Yeah, got a fire one coming out with Jazzy.
Those
for sure.
Dope. So hopefully summer 2025 we get these out, and this two coming definitely before end of the year. So man, I'm excited, man. I appreciate you. I think it was dope to create with you over the past 2 years now.
Yeah, you too, brother, for sure.
Made a lot of dope music. I'm also super excited for Hold My Hand. We got to figure out the plan.
Yes,
that
I know.
That's
our Disney song.
Our
our
Disney Channel placement.
Yeah, exactly.
But shout out to Spidey and Diva on that one. But man, I'm glad we got to do this. I'm glad we got to break down some of these songs. I'm sure we'll do more beat breakdowns, more stories behind the songs in the future. But man, I appreciate you.
Yeah, you too, fam. I appreciate you, brother.
Sure. Boom.
We out.